Summary of the poem The Unknown Citizen by W. H. Auden. W. H. Auden's poem The Unknown Citizen is a powerful satirical commentary on the modern individual's life in a bureaucratic, impersonal society. It presents a man who, on the surface, seems to have lived an ideal life, compliant, productive, and socially acceptable. But Auden's tone is ironic throughout, suggesting that such a life, though outwardly perfect according to government and social standards, might be completely lacking in personal identity, freedom, and true happiness. The poem is written in the form of an official report or eulogy composed by a state agency. The unknown citizen is identified not by a name, but by a code number, reflecting the way bureaucratic systems often reduce individuals to statistics. Every detail about his life is based on data collected from institutions, his employer, his union, his health records, public opinion researchers, and psychologists. These sources all confirm that he was normal and satisfactory. He worked steadily at a factory, paid his union dues, bought newspapers, liked a drink, had the right number of children, and owned all the expected consumer items of a modern man, such as a radio and refrigerator. However, the irony lies in the final lines. Was he free? Was he happy? The question is absurd. Had anything been wrong, we should certainly have heard. This ending reveals the central criticism of the poem. While the state knows everything about the citizen's external life, it knows nothing about his inner life, his thoughts, emotions, or whether he felt fulfilled or free. Auden suggests that society, in its obsession with order, conformity, and efficiency, neglects the human soul. It measures success by material possessions and public behavior rather than by genuine well-being. The poem is written in free verse, meaning it does not follow a strict rhyme scheme or meter. However, Auden subtly uses iambic pentameter in parts, giving the poem a formal, report-like tone. The lack of a consistent rhythm reflects the mechanical and impersonal nature of the content. It reads like an official document rather than a personal tribute, which suits the poem's theme. Structurally, the poem is one long stanza, reinforcing the idea that the citizen's life is being summarized as a single, continuous record. There is no personal voice, no break for emotion or reflection, only a factual, clinical presentation of a life that is judged solely by external standards. The main theme of the poem is the dehumanization of the individual in modern, bureaucratic societies. It criticizes how institutions often value obedience, conformity, and economic productivity over individuality, freedom, and happiness. Auden's tone is dry and ironic, which deepens the impact of the poem's message. By highlighting the absurdity of judging a life purely through statistics, the poem encourages readers to think about what really matters in a human life, and to question whether modern society supports or suppresses those values.
Line-by-line explanation of the poem The Unknown Citizen by W. H. Auden.
Line 1. He was found by the Bureau of Statistics to be. This opening line immediately introduces an impersonal tone. The man's life is being judged not by personal memories or relationships but by data collected by the Bureau of Statistics. This reflects the modern bureaucratic way of measuring a person's worth through numbers and records. Line 2. One against whom there was no official complaint. The man led a life that was trouble-free, at least from the government's perspective. He never challenged the system or caused any problems. This is not necessarily praise, but rather a reflection of how the state values silence and conformity over individuality or protest. Line 3. And all the reports on his conduct agree. Every report about him, whether from his employer, government departments, or other institutions, unanimously shows him as a good citizen. This further reinforces how his identity is based entirely on external evaluations and official records. Line 4. That, in the modern sense of an old-fashioned word, he was a saint. The phrase modern sense of an old-fashioned word is ironic. Traditionally, a saint is a morally exceptional person, but here it simply means someone who obeyed the rules and caused no trouble. The poet critiques how modern society reduces morality to obedience. Line 5. For in everything he did he served the greater community. This suggests that his entire life was devoted to serving society. However, the phrase is ambiguous. Did he serve willingly or blindly? The line hints at a loss of personal freedom in favor of serving the collective. Line 6. Except for the war till the day he retired. He worked steadily throughout his life, with the only break being his service during the war. This shows that he fulfilled his patriotic duty when needed, fitting the expected model of a loyal citizen. Line 7. He worked in a factory and never got fired. The man was employed consistently and did not lose his job, an achievement in the eyes of an industrial society that values stable, uninterrupted labor. Line 8. But satisfied his employers, Fudge Motors Incorporated. He didn't just keep his job, he pleased his bosses. The company name Fudge Motors Incorporated might be intentionally bland or even satirical, symbolizing the dull, unremarkable nature of his work life. Line 9. Yet he wasn't a scab or odd in his views. This means he wasn't someone who betrayed his fellow workers by opposing the union, a scab, nor did he hold radical or unusual opinions. He was politically and socially safe. Line 10. For his union reports that he paid his dues. He fulfilled all responsibilities expected of a union member. This continues the theme of total conformity. He followed every rule in every institution. Line 11. Our report on his union shows it was sound. Even the union he belonged to is approved by authorities. This shows how every aspect of his life is under state scrutiny and control, even institutions that are supposed to protect workers. Line 12. And our social psychology workers found. Here, a different kind of monitoring is introduced: psychological. Social psychologists evaluated his personality and found no reason to be concerned. Line 13. That he was popular with his mates and liked to drink. He had social approval and engaged in common leisure activities like drinking. This indicates he fit in socially and did not isolate himself or act suspiciously. Line 14. The press are convinced that he bought a paper every day. He read the newspaper daily, showing that he was informed, engaged, and followed the mainstream media. It's a marker of being a normal citizen. Line 15. And that his reactions to advertisements were normal in every way. He responded to consumer marketing in expected ways. He bought what he was supposed to. This highlights how even personal preferences are judged by societal standards. Line 16. Policies taken out in his name prove that he was fully insured. He was financially responsible, planning for risks like illness or death, and had the proper insurance coverage, another box ticked in the life of the ideal modern man. Line 17. And his health card shows he was once in hospital but left it cured. He only had one hospital visit, and he recovered. This detail shows that he was not a burden on the healthcare system, an efficient, healthy citizen. Line 18. Both producers' research and high-grade living declare. Two corporate or government bodies focused on production and lifestyle certify that his way of life was correct. Their approval reflects how consumerism and productivity are seen as essential values. Line 19. He was fully sensible to the advantages of the installment plan. He used credit to buy goods, a typical behavior in capitalist societies. This shows he supported and participated in the economy as expected. Line 20. And had everything necessary to the modern man. He owned all the material items that define a successful man in modern society. His life is judged based on possessions, not emotions or relationships. Line 21. A phonograph, a radio, a car, and a Frigidaire. These objects of music, media, transportation, and refrigeration represent the comforts of a middle-class life. Again, his identity is reduced to consumer items. Line 22. Our researchers into public opinion are content. Public opinion experts also approve of him. This suggests that he didn't express controversial ideas and agreed with mainstream views. Line 23. That he held the proper opinions for the time of year. His beliefs were flexible, he believed whatever was fashionable or officially sanctioned at the time. This satirical line implies that he lacked any independent thought. Line 24, when there was peace, he was for peace, when there was war, he went. This illustrates blind conformity. He didn't question policies or morals, he followed whatever the state or society demanded. Line 25, he was married and added 5 children to the population. He had a family and contributed to population growth. This reflects how even private decisions like having children are considered part of one's social duty. Line 26, which our eugenist says was the right number for a parent of his generation. The mention of a eugenist suggests scientific control over reproduction. His number of children is considered correct by social planning standards, highlighting a disturbing level of intrusion into personal life. Line 27, and our teachers report that he never interfered with their education. He didn't get involved in his children's schooling or challenge the education system, suggesting passive obedience even in parenting. Line 28, was he free? Was he happy? The question is absurd. The speaker dismisses these deeply human questions, claiming they are irrelevant. The system doesn't care whether he felt free or happy, only that he followed the rules. Line 29, had anything been wrong, we should certainly have heard. The final line is the ultimate irony. It shows a blind faith in systems and reports, assuming that if there was no complaint, then everything must have been perfect. It underscores the poem's core criticism. The modern world measures people with data and bureaucracy, but ignores their inner lives, their emotions, and their individuality.
About the poet. W. H. Auden was born on February 21, 1907, in York, England. He was a major 20th century poet known for his wide-ranging intellect, technical skill, and engagement with political, social, and moral issues. Auden studied at Oxford and became associated with a group of politically conscious writers in the 1930s. His early poetry reflected concern with war, class, and social injustice. In 1939, he moved to the United States, later becoming an American citizen. His style evolved over time, combining classical forms with modern themes, often using irony and wit. Notable works include Funeral Blues, September 1, 1939, and The Unknown Citizen. Auden also wrote plays, essays, and collaborated with other writers. His poetry often explored human suffering, faith, and the complexities of the modern world. He died on September 29, 1973, in Vienna, Austria, leaving behind a lasting influence on both British and American literature.
Hope we summarized it fully and you liked it. Please hit the like button and subscribe to our channel so that we are motivated to create more videos.